March 11, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E futures mini on the 2002 chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Kind of looked like it was just within a big range, similar to yesterday, just kind of moving in a big range. And then it did have a slight drop about 2 hours into the day, and then it kind of oscillated in another small range. And within that range, it was kind of choppy. The only economic data that came out was the core CPI number, which happened right here. We see this crazy spike and flush back down. And then there were a few kind of like shortened trend channels all throughout the day. I found a few setups, but only really took one. Get into the trades right now. The one trade I did take was profitable. So in the pre-market, it spiked up and then looked like it was 2 legs down, then another spike up. Looks like it was 2 legs down again, then 2 legs up. In the pre-market, right before the open, it was on its way up and then it continued and it started moving sideways. I didn't really see any clean second entries or high probability ones. There's a second entry here, but it's a bad signal bar. It's also a little early for me to try to trust a trade right here. And I continue sideways. There is another second entry long right here, but it's selling, it's buying right into the highs of this range. So I don't really like that. No higher low confirmations, and if that pushes up, looks like it was 2 legs down. To be like a first entry, pull back, second entry, but a visual first entry, maybe second entry here, but this feels like it's out in the middle of nowhere. Makes a new low, or localized low. First entry short, second entry short. There was a possible trade I was thinking about right here, but ultimately I didn't really like it because this is a break of this orange up channel. So it could start reversing back up. EMA, EMA isn't very helpful right here. So it's hard to say it's acting as a resistance and keep prices down because it was ambiguous. Reverses back up. This is a second entry long here, but the same reason I didn't like the second entry short here is it's just kind of out in the middle. It's a little bit in the area of I'm not sure where it's going to really head. And there's no higher low confirmations until you get to maybe about here. Pushes up, hits the high, breaks out of this green up channel, break, presses back down, localized low. You have really only a technical first entry short. Then you have a second entry short here, but it's an inside bar. Starts moving down. It's creating these lower lows every time, and I've established this as a potential trend line coming down. And then I established the high side, which looked like it fit, but I didn't have a third confirmation until I got to about right here. So it comes down, it pushes, makes a new localized low. So the count starts first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Unfortunately, the second entry short doesn't set up nicely. It is contextually pretty nice because it just recently made a third touch confirmation. Gives you a lower high here, which I think is a possible trade because it confirms the second entry short. EMA is starting to trend downwards, so it's kind of acting as resistance now. The third touch confirmation, coming from a third touch confirmation of this yellow down channel, so it looks like a decent setup. Signal bar could be better, but I thought this is a possible trade with enough room for easy or relatively safe 6-point scalp. Pushes down, starts reversing up. Say first entry short, and that's all you really get. Makes another touchdown here. This could be argued as maybe a triple test, but I trust it a little bit more to maybe go long if there wasn't this fail breakout over here. But it is pretty far from the setup. So at the time I was thinking this high side and either this blue line, which is bold, or down here is the bottom of this gigantic possible range. Starts reversing up, first entry short. Technically have a second entry short. I'm not sure if this yellow down channel resistance is valid anymore because it's a breakout in dwell time that was so long out here. Pushes up, almost looks like a spike and a shallow channel up. No clean second entries. Hits a localized high. It's a first entry long. Pullback, second entry long fails, and new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. This is kind of on the border between a possible setup and I guess an almost setup. So it's worth noting. The thing I liked about it is 2 key entry points. It is getting rejected off this yellow down channel coming down. It's a nice signal bar. The thing stopping me was it did react previously 3 times. So it tried to break through this blue line here once, twice, 3 times. So it's hard to really know if it's really going to break through or not. It is making lower lows every time. but then there's not making lower, excuse me, it's making lower highs every time, but not making lower lows. Every time it seems to get stopped right here. So it's hard for me to really know if this maybe went down earlier or further, or it came up higher, like it reversed higher here. So I couldn't definitively feel like there was some kind of support here. Then I think this would have been a possible trade. Prices move down, looks like this yellow down channel. Looks like it's a potential failed breakout of this blue line if I had defined the range as the blue line. It starts reversing up. It's localized low. It is a first entry short right here by 1 tick. Second entry short failure, almost trade, but I was looking for a higher low because I was thinking maybe this one leg up pullback, it would make a second leg. So I was looking for a higher low ideally here, but it doesn't. Then it comes over here and it gives me my first, well, one and only trade. So it's looking like there's two legs up from this bottom area, one leg up, pullback, second leg up. There is this yellow down channel that I saw it break. I was thinking maybe it's going to test the low. So it looks like there's two attempts up. Maybe it's going to reverse. This purple down channel doesn't exist yet. So I can't really use this as a key entry point and justification that there's a second entry short visual and this is confirming it. But it is two legs up and it is confirming this visual second entry short. Although the signal bar is green, when I saw it open here, it kind of like welled for a little bit of time, then immediately kind of like started moving down. I decided like there's probably enough for a quick 6-tick scalp, which I went for. So I took this on, it's not quite engulfing, but I took it on the break of this guy. It's a little more aggressive, pushed down, gave me the 6-tick scalp. And even if you're going for 3 full points, it would have been safe. But as it pushes down, because I also knew that if this bold line was a support that I was concerned about, my 6 ticks is safe before I have to worry about potentially running into this guy. So I thought it was a trade. So again, admittedly a little more aggressive, and it worked. Pushes down, breaks up, break of this red up, break of this orange up channel, test the high, but it also looks like it's moving sideways consolidation. Then it pushes down. Well, as soon as it pushes down, I was able to connect this channel and this low side, and it looked like it was fitting pretty well. But as I got to here, it looked like it broke through this pre-market low side. I was wondering if it was going to reverse back in, so I was just watching. Got to here, reverses, almost looks like it's trying to make it back into this bigger range, but it doesn't. It kind of fails and continues back down. There is a second entry short here, but it's not a really clean setup. Starts moving sideways. As it's moving sideways, I saw this new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. I thought this, considering it's like trying to hit this resistance, it was hitting the support, it was pretty much range bound. So although it's a second entry short range rules, I was thinking it was going to push back down. So I thought it was a possible trade. It is the top of the range. EMA is acting as resistance, decent signal bar. If you, well, in this case, if you entered late and after this bar closed, then there would be no entry because it already came down and touched the bottom. So this is kind of like you have to enter it really quickly, because if you entered after this bar closed, you likely would have gotten stopped out by this big green bar. Starts moving sideways. The second entry long here, but it is an inside bar. I'm not a big fan of that. There's a higher low here, but this higher low, it's kind of in the middle of this potential mess area. And by the time it closes and it engulfs this guy and it closes up here, now my concern is there another resistance here? So I saw this, but I couldn't justify taking a trade because it's like a first entry short pullback, second entry short failure. Also could be seen as a visual first entry long, hidden second entry long down and up. But again, I was concerned about this potential resistance. Prices move up, break of this orange up channel, test the high, starts like looking like it's moving sideways, creates a localized high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. It's multiple tests, second entry long. I thought there was a possible trade here. This red up channel doesn't exist. So it's based solely on the strength of the multiple tests, bottom of the range, decent signal bar because it closed at the low, it's pushing back up. It does feel just slightly congested, but I was thinking there was enough momentum to push back up. Break of this orange has technically tested the high once, tested the high twice, tested the high 3 times. So I was seeing multiple higher highs. So I wasn't super, I was thinking more likely it's going to try to push up than it would give up and fail back down because it's making these gradual higher highs. break of the green up channel, test the high, starts moving sideways, comes back down. First entry long, pull back, second entry long. This red up channel I didn't really trust yet because would it actually be something like right here? One touch, two touch, three touch. It looks pretty good, but then now I have a potential fail breakout here, or I grabbed it up to here. I thought it maybe at one time it was a fail breakout, so one of my many channels from various channels were there. Ultimately, I placed it right here after the fact because it looks like it confirms 3 times up here and 2 times up here. But in real time, when this is still developing, it's hard to know which of my channels was the correct one to follow. So it pushes up, pulls down, break, pushes all the way down to here. Didn't mean to move that. Localized low, first entry short, second entry short. It's kind of reverses itself. It's a localized high. It's a first entry long, pullback, second entry long. I thought this was a possible trade as well. It is bouncing off this support because this wasn't an actual channel just yet. It looked like there's some kind of support here. I was thinking maybe there's a channel here, but it doesn't really get confirmed until about right here. But this does look like a decent setup because the first entry long pullback, second entry long, it has tested the high. It's bouncing off this trend line support, decent signal bar engulfing this guy. So if I didn't take this possible trade, I think this higher low possible trade would have been good, except this higher low, I think it's only safe taking it on the engulfing. I definitely wouldn't take it after the close because this is the localized high. So you have no real idea it's going to do this or if it's going to start reversing. Maybe it's going to be stuck in a range. So you'd have to take it as soon as it broke above this guy. But I would only feel comfortable taking it above this guy if this was a better signal bar. But it is a more aggressive trade. If you took it, I think you'd be safe enough to get your 1, maybe 2 point scalp right before it got to here. Hits the localized high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, inside bar, not the biggest fan of that. Then prices start moving sideways. Looks like it's 2 legs down, then it looks like it's 1 leg up. You could also break it down as maybe 2 smaller legs, but there was no decisive break below here. So I just thought, okay, it could either be this, and earlier I had something a little tighter, more aggressive, like right here, but it doesn't fit quite well because there's a few breakouts below. But it doesn't really matter because it isn't set up in an area that I could read the context really well. The first entry long, and then it starts moving sideways. Another high, first entry long pullback. So the second entry long here is bad signal bar. EMA isn't very helpful in this region because you can see prices are both above and below it, so it's not super reliable as a key entry point. It's a localized high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long, but I was thinking, was there some kind of support areas here? But it just didn't quite fit everywhere nicely because it kind of breaks above, breaks below. It's choppy. It is getting toward the last hour. There's still possible trades to be taken, but I was a little more cautious. I was hoping this would break one side or the other, or make more consistent highs and lows so I could see a more visible trading range. But unfortunately, I didn't do that before it got into the close. So localized low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. Second entry short kind of fails here. You could say it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long, 2 confirmations, but this yellow up channel, if I can grab this, doesn't really exist solidly yet because initially I was thinking of something like this, but I never colored it in until much later. And by the time the later happened, this is already too late to the end of the day. There's a possible second entry long here that I think was maybe a good setup, except if you look at the timestamp, it's only 10 minutes left. I'm not going to take a trade 10 minutes left when I already have green for the day. So why risk trying to, I guess, desperately scrap out another trade when I could potentially lose and give it all back? So kind of how I saw the charts today. A little whipsaw, a little bit choppy. Some couple of, I think, decent setups. I did take one trade and was profitable. So hopefully I kind of continue on slowly grinding things back. And hopefully that's helpful.